Sebastian Stan is finally back on the big screen in A Different Man. Let's talk about it.
Let's just all start being honest with ourselves, old friend.
A Different Man follows Edward, who has a facial disformity, and he goes through an experimental medical procedure to transform his appearance. He then becomes obsessed with what he's lost. Aaron Schimberg actually directed this, and I'm not too familiar with him. He's directed some other small movies the past couple years. This is probably his biggest movie yet, and I really thought this one was great, and I think it's a must-see for everyone, especially if you're a fan of A24, because this is coming from A24. Finally, A24 has had a great movie, because the last one I did not like from them, which was The Front Room. I think that that's one of A24's worst films yet. Their year this year has been pretty decent. They still have The Brutalist, but who knows? I'll probably have to wait to see that in 2025. But this one is one of their best this year. It's kind of a mix of drama with a decent amount of comedy in kind of like a satirical way at times. And the movie even gets like insane in the most interesting ways that you won't even like understand somehow. But it also makes you angry sometimes with how dumb the Edward character can be. But that's the whole point of the movie. It gets that dumb and it makes you that angry because it's supposed to. It plays on those themes, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, this one is really great. I was waiting for this one for a while because it opened limited like 2 weeks ago, I think. But yeah, the trailer was great, and it's actually kind of different from the trailer because the trailer makes it seem like kind of a sad drama going through these hard times with Edward, but it actually gets really funny sometimes. I really liked how it pointed out that us, the audience, have this reaction, like a fight or flight reaction, whenever we see someone with a facial disformity, and we always want to look away. Like, I've done it before, and I think everyone in the world has done it. You see someone with this facial disformity, and you just want to look away, and it's not the best thing to do. Like, it's a terrible thing to do. You never want to do that because it's very disrespectful. But the movie kind of gives you a lot to talk about that, information. It even plays like an ad that Edward's in about like trying to help check on them in the workplace, which I thought was really funny. But yeah, this movie does give you a lot to talk about once it's finished. Like, once it finished, I was like, wow, that is very insightful in some ways and very interesting how they really went about saying it. Because it does get very satirical at sometimes, and it discusses how sometimes the dream of becoming like the perfect looking person isn't always the right path. As I said, the movie plays with each genre in a really great way, and I thought the script was done so well. It's one of my favorite scripts of the year so far. It kind of ramps up the tension between some characters, and then something insane just comes out of nowhere. I thought it was so interesting to just see how the film goes 0 to 100 in a like matter of seconds. And I really thought the characters were also well realized. Like, you have Edward, who is played by Sebastian Stan, and I gotta say, this is one of his best performances that I've ever seen from him, who has the facial disformity, and the makeup work done on him is amazing. If this doesn't get nominated for best makeup work at the Oscars, I'm gonna be stunned. Just like The Substance, these are kind of very similar movies, but they both have some amazing makeup work. And Edward is a very self-conscious person because of his disformity and about his image and how people view him. Like, he's looking at people in the subway train and they're looking at him and all that, giving him looks. And he's a very nervous person because of this, especially when he meets his new roommate, Ingrid, who has she does like him at a point, and then, but he's too scared to really, go with that. He's too scared, doesn't know what to do. And he's also too scared to even ask for his roof to get fixed. Like, he lives with his roof, like, caving in on him because, like, the water damage, it just gets bigger and bigger. And then the guy comes to fix it, and he's like, why didn't you ask me to fix this sooner? And he's like, I didn't know. And so he's a very nervous person because of that. Then later in the film, you have Oswald, who is played by Adam Pearson, who actually has the disease of neurofibromatosis, and shows up and kind of takes the spotlight away from Edward. And he has kind of like the same facial disformity, and he takes everything away from Edward that he would have had if he kind of stayed the same, because Edward goes through this facial transformation to turn into, Sebastian Stan with the perfect face and all that. And that's kind of that was his dream. And he goes out and can do so many different stuff without people giving him looks. But Oswald is taking like everything away from him, and he's not a self-conscious person, not a nervous person. He's kind of like the perfect person who everyone likes and is like living Edward's dream. So it kind of turns in like this versus movie between Edward and Oswald when Edward wants that life back. He wants that life back. He wants everything back that he left. Like he realizes the dream that he had does not really make him happy forever. I found that so interesting. He is always around him. He's always so annoyed by Oswald, even though Oswald is just like happy all the time. He has like no problems with anybody. It really does play with that so interestingly. And sometimes Edward can make you really angry with how he acts because he's just too scared to speak up, too scared to say anything. And man, it makes you angry in the most ways, but it's really smart how it does it. The score in this is also probably in my top 5 for favorite scores this year because it really does stick with you after you watch it. It has a lot of piano in there. If you know me, I think piano is just amazing to listen to, and it being in a score just makes it even better. And it kind of feels like a jazz sense in some of the scenes. I thought it was beautiful. Overall, A Different Man is one that leaves you with a lot to think about and talk about by the end of it, and I really want to see this one again. It's another hit for A24 with Sebastian Stan giving one of his best performances yet, and Adam Pearson is so charismatic. He was great. I'm going to give A Different Man a strong 8 out of 10. If you saw it, make sure to leave your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed my review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.